Hey everyone, this video is going to showcase all of the painted armies that I have ready to play Warhammer Fantasy. Some of them you've already seen in some of the battle reports, hobby talks, and just other videos I have here on the channel, but some you've never seen before. So thought it would be cool to just kind of throw everything together into one video, and I'm sure years from now I'll have to make another one and update the roster with all of the new armies I've acquired. So sit back and enjoy and just check out all the miniatures. For this first little showcase, I thought it would be fun to assemble both of my armies of the undead clashing with my Bretonnians and Halflings. Even though these armies are kind of meant to be fielded separately, a lot of their identities are kind of merged together. What I mean by that is my Blood Knight army there. Every now and then we'll summon some zombies, and I will need to use them from my other undead army, which is known as the Followers of Malekith. And it's a similar parallel to the Bretonnians. I use a lot of the Halflings as peasants or bowmen, and I like to use the mounted Halflings as yeomen or sometimes knight errants in my Bretonnian army. So a lot of times these armies kind of have cross-play with each other, but they can also be fielded independently if desired. Obviously, there's a lot of parallels between Blood Dragons and Bretonnians, you know, not just from the lore, but actually playing the tabletop and everything, and having both these armies facing off against each other has kind of always been like a dream scenario in my mind. And there's actually a lot of lore and stuff, too, about the Halflings of the Moot having to fight against the undead. And though these aren't Halflings of the Moot, per se, I like to imagine that my Bretonnians are of a border prince kind of territory, and they have a lot of cultural integration with, like, Halflings, maybe even some dwarves and Empire folks. So, yeah, I kind of like to imagine they're of that provenance, but my Halflings also have a little bit of a penchant for fighting the undead. I'd say they specialize, though, when it comes to fighting orcs, if you've been following their progress in the battle reports I've been doing for the Kaiju League. But yeah, I just think these armies facing off against each other has always been a dream scenario in my mind. I think if it was actually done out point-wise, I'd need to add a little bit more to the undead side for it to be completely fair. But I do think it actually looks like quite an interesting matchup. The undead definitely have a little bit more in terms of armored cavalry. The quality is definitely debatable, though. I'd say the Blessing of the Lady might just give the edge to the Bretonnian side, but again, the numbers are on the undead. And then when you look at the opposite side, like, the body count is pretty equal, but it's mostly zombies matching up against Halflings, and not a lot of them are poorly equipped. A lot of them got range, little bows, spears and shields, and some armor. So yeah, interesting little matchup on that side. I think the zombies are backed up by some Graveguard and another unit of Black Knights, so that might be enough to hit through the elite units on the Halfling side. And again, both of us have these mounted generals that would just look so cool facing off against each other. I think stat-wise, the Vampire Lord, especially on a zombie dragon, would probably be able to take out the Bretonnian Lord, but again, you never know with the Blessing of the Lady, and he might have that heroic killing blow, what's it called? The heroic killing blow virtue. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but if he has that, I mean, he might be able to just one-shot the dragon, so could be a really cool matchup. And then this is a little showcase of just the two undead armies separated. This is specifically the Cult of Malekith. You can see he's got a huge mob of zombies. That is lovely Malekith right there, looking fantastic. He's got his Graveguard behind him, about 20 of them. A nice vampire kind of duelist there. A Banshee to the flank of the vampire. Behind them are 7 moldy Black Knights. And we got about 10 ghouls as well, just to top it all off for a little bit of extra punch. And I even included old Franken-Orc, even though I don't typically run him in a list. I just thought it would be fun to throw him in the background there, too, if you can see him. Sin Army, I know I've done a whole other hobby video talking about the making of the army, as well as having them in quite a few battle reports, so won't spend too much time talking about them, but these are the Knights of the Blood Moon. Unfortunately, when I was taking all the photographs here, I forgot to include the Lord's Trusty Hunting Hounds. It is a 5-pack of Chaos Warhounds that I like to run with this army. I use them as a rare choice through the Storms of Magic book. Unfortunately, your Blood Dragon armies in the old 6th edition book, they don't have a whole lot of like kind of trash throwaway units. And beyond just that concept, I like the idea of having hunting hounds with like this elite army. It ties to the theme and everything, so I wanted to include those. Additionally, since the last time you've seen these, you might have noticed my vampire thrall there on the mounted horse, Aberon the Decapitator. I've added little bits for all the champions' heads he's gotten killing blows against in duels. I thought that was a cool little detail. And yeah, some of the other characters in this army have a couple extra little bits. The army's definitely gotten a couple of little details and sprucing up things over the past couple of months, but for the most part, they're pretty much the same since the last time you saw them. I know I very recently did a hobby video on my Halfling army here, and they are still kind of a work in progress since they're involved in the Kaiju League, and our armies are still kind of expanding. But that whole exciting little league thing's going to be concluding rather soon, I think at the start of next month or about halfway through. So I think when that finishes up, I will call this Halfling project done for now. But yeah, won't linger too long on these fellows, just because I know I've already had a whole YouTube video talking about them and the process and all that stuff. But thought it would be nice to still see some photos of them, since this is an all-encompassing video. I thought it would be nice to finally get the Bretonnians on here. I know I talk about them a lot on the channel, but I've only had them in like one battle report, and it was the Halloween one, and I was pretty much just running a very funny all man-at-arms peasant list, so yeah, I finally got them on here and thought it would be cool to show them off. I am missing one of my trebuchets. I'm not missing it, it's just like far from complete. I need to get to work on that. The Grail Knights I do have in this video are kind of tucked away in the background because they need a lot of work, and I have 3 more, but I'm not sure where they are currently making this video. I need to find them. So my Grail Knights are also on my to-do list for these Bretonnians. You can also see another couple of photos here just showcasing the whole collection that I kind of have. And if you're wondering why like the man-at-arms unit and like the archers are so slim, as I kind of already mentioned, this army is meant to run in tandem with my halflings. I literally have halflings like mounted with Bretonnian helmets and barding and stuff, and like they're supposed to be like junior knights, like aspiring to be Bretonnians. Like it's a whole theme. So yeah, I kind of wanted to keep them separated in some of the photos, and then some of them I have them together. So if you're wondering why the unit numbers kind of switch back and forth, that's why. But yeah, I mean, it's still a really pretty complete army. I'm definitely happy with it. But yeah, it's a pretty big army, I would say. I got about 10, 12 Knights of the Realm. I like to run 5 Knights Errant, but I could run more if needed. The mounted Lord on the Hippogriff. I have a Lord or Paladin riding a Pegasus, as well as just 3 Pegasus Knights. 20 to 40 man-at-arms, depending on what I feel like playing with. I normally always run about like 14 or 15 peasant bowmen, but again, when I use like the halflings in tandem with this army, you know, we can bust that up to like 30 or 40 bowmen if needed. I already mentioned the trebuchet, but I do have another one if I want to run two. My opponents never like that whenever I run two trebuchets, but I have 3 Grail Knights here. I do have the 3 other ones that I need to work on, so can go up to like 6 Grail Knights. I kind of like running them in like little 3-man elite units, though. I used to not do that, and I've been kind of leaning towards that lately, though. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it when it comes to the Bretonnian collection here. I do have a mounted prophetess. I have a foot one as well, but she's not as painted up as I would like her to like the standard of the rest of the army, so I didn't bother putting her in the video here. And obviously I got Paladin Hank here as well, so yeah, most of my Bretonnians there. I didn't realize it till I set it all up, but yeah, the Ogres are definitely my biggest collection. Not just the biggest boys, but the biggest collection. Quite a few here. Got 9 Iron Guts, 5 Lead Belchers, 6 Man-Eaters. Those are the guys with the flags there. I kind of custom made them. Bruiser, BSB, I think like 35 Noblars or so. 2 of the Thunder Tusk Cannons, 4 Morn Fangs. What is it called? The Thunder Tusk or something, I can't remember. The big fur ball there with the 2 guys riding on it. And then kind of on the far right here is my Ogre Samurai group. Lady Orogoshi, as she is known, and her Samurai Retainer bodyguards. And she's also got a Mountain Sherpa little hunter there. Those were my Mordheim warband gang that I played a couple of years ago, I think. But I did build them all up so they could be played, obviously, in large scale. So I thought it'd be cool to kind of throw them in on the side there. Every now and then I run them in the armies. But yeah, it's my whole Ogre collection here. Other than the Samurai guys, this was actually an army I painted up like when I was a teen, back in 2012, 2009, 2012-ish, I think. So yeah, pretty old. I think I did a pretty good paint job though on them. Some of the skin tones and faces and stuff definitely could have been a little bit better in my opinion, but some of the conversions and stuff I did way back then I honestly think are pretty cool. I think that BSB still looks really cool. Some of my custom little Iron Guts over there I think look pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I always love this army. Always does a really good job too. Everyone's always scared of the Ogres. Rightfully so, I suppose. And then I forgot to mention there are like 4 Saber Tusks as well, just to be annoying little chaff units. I have a Butcher or Slaughter Priest, whatever one you prefer. And I think that's all there. Oh, and then my Tyrant in the middle there. He is not the custom character. I actually just normally run him as a Ogre Tyrant because I just love the model. I think he looks pretty cool. Just don't remember him being that good point-wise for what you got. He just wasn't ever really worth it. Yeah, most of the named Ogre characters were kind of in that situation, at least from what I can recall. They were all cool, but yeah, unfortunately not really worth their points. So normally just ran my own custom characters with their own loadouts. And if you're wondering why there's a little dragon tucked away on the side there, that was a cool little narrative point that my Ogre Mordheim warband was building up towards. Basically, Lady Orogoshi, she was like the clan's leader's daughter, and as like a proving point that she can take over the clan at some point, she has to kill one of those storm dragons and climb up a mountain and be able to solo it, and she was able to do it, so she's ready to lead the next crew of samurai when the time comes, back in her homelands. This is an army that I actually have for sale on my Etsy store. I've probably mentioned it once or twice in another video, but every now and then I figure it's just collecting dust, waiting for someone to eventually hopefully grab it. So why not put it on the battlefield? And it's really cool Siege themed army. Yeah. It's got 20 warriors, you got 10 chaos knights, you got a lord that's got a demonic mount, a chaos spawn in case any of your characters turn into it, or you just want a chaos spawn, and then yeah, you got a little sorcerer over there as well. A lot of custom made minis here, and I just think it has an awesome color scheme more than anything. I just love all the colors. I love dwarf slayers, and I just thought it would be cool to showcase my small yet steadily growing little collection of dwarf slayers here. Whenever I get the chance, I love to field these guys. I do have a couple of additional dwarven units, like unit of Longbeards, some crossbows and thunderers, cannon, a couple of other little things, but it's not really enough to like call it an army. But yeah, I just figured I would throw this in here at the very least to let you all know I do have a dwarf collection, and it is slowly growing, and it'll one day be a proper Warhammer force. And speaking of dwarves, I do actually own their evil brothers from across the mountain ranges. Yes, that's right, a Chaos Dwarf army. Got some Chaos Dwarf warriors, we got a 20-man or 25-man of the Infernal Guard. I can't remember exactly what they're called in the book. It might have been like a 8th edition Army Project book, but they're like Stone Guard or something like that. They're like your elite guys. I got like 5 or 6 of them built up. I want to build more. I got a big Hell Cannon here. I have a Bull Centaur kind of hero character, a Dwarf BSB, and a Lord as well there, the White Flame of Hashut. Oh, and a little rocket launcher team that I forgot to mention. They popped up earlier in the video. But yeah, that concludes my Chaos Dwarf army. And that just about wraps up my Warhammer Fantasy collection, at least when it comes to full collections of armies. I have plenty of little Mordheim gangs that I didn't bother showing off in this video. I know I put the Ogre one in there, but I have like a Witch Hunter warband, a Everland or Osterland warband, I think like 2 or 3 more as well, not counting the Ogre ones. But yeah, I had like a Dwarf Treasure Hunter warband as well. Yeah, so the list goes on. I have much more to show off in future videos. Maybe we'll do a Mordheim warband showcase, but that is it for all of the armies I own for Warhammer Fantasy. Thought it would be cool to just get this video out before the official launch of Warhammer The Old World. You know, maybe this is the conclusion of a chapter and the opening of another one when it comes to the game of Warhammer Fantasy. We will have to see when those rulebooks officially arrive and I get my chance to read through all the books. Hopefully it won't take too much longer. I heard a couple of rumors of people getting Games Workshop packages a little bit early ahead of schedule. So maybe if I'm really lucky, I'll end up being one of those. I doubt it. I don't live in the most convenient area for mailing. But yeah, keep an eye out for those videos. Also, the conclusion of the Kaiju League will be coming up either at the end of this... No, actually, it'll be at the start or halfway through February. So keep an eye out for that video as well. And as I mentioned, I hope to get a battle report out on the old world and the new rules and all that stuff pretty soon. Exciting times, folks. 2024 is going to be a very productive year, I can tell, and a very exciting year for Warhammer. Have a great day. See you all later. Bye-bye.